listen to what was happening as part of this conversation that was going on between teachers and students. How one student says, she's in seventh grade at the time, she said that she had teachers who helped her to come out in fifth grade. Fifth grade.
Do you feel like young kids feel seen and supported as much in elementary school as they do in middle and high school?
To answer that question, so I'm in middle school and I have a younger sibling in fourth grade, and not 100% sure what their pronouns are, but right now, so my sibling, I went to the same elementary school and I felt pretty supported, and I actually, I came out in fifth grade with the help of my guidance counselor. And they were really supportive. We had a whole unit with the guidance counselor just teaching us about stuff.
They had a whole unit with a guidance counselor teaching them. So she was able to come out in fifth grade. Her sibling, who's now in fourth grade, I'm not sure what her problems are, but, she's having some of these gender problems. Yeah, well, why is it that I tried to put this up on Twitter yesterday. It wouldn't let me put this up, interestingly enough. I was able to put this up on Gab. I'd never had that problem before. But I like this meme. What it does, it shows the United States, and it says all the states that are colored blue, teachers are allowed to groom kids. And then there's one state that's in red, and that's Florida. And it says, here, only fourth grade and up. So, of course, the same thing that's being described here in Vermont, that could easily happen in Florida. Because even if they abided by the prohibitions of messing with kids kindergarten through third grade, fourth grade, hey, all bets are off. That's now the age of consent. What are they doing? Talking to kids. I mean, even Bill Maher, who's a liberal, been around the Hollywood crowd and everything. He goes, what are you doing talking to these kind of issues to kids about? Doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't. And then there was the gender unicorn. This is also part of this same event here. Listen to this guy. I mean, this guy wants to be on Broadway.
Now, some of you may have seen this handy dandy flyer before. I love this. This is a fabulous educational tool. The Gender Unicorn! Ta-da! Okay, I don't know if you all have seen this before, but yes, all of the spirit fingers for the Gender Unicorn. This is a fabulous, fabulous tool that we use in educational settings to talk about gender identity and gender expression. So it's just, it's fabulous. So again, the blue is representing the gender identity. The green, we're talking about gender expression, sex assigned at birth, physically attracted to, emotionally attracted to. There's a whole series on the Gender Unicorn and lessons that can be used. So Nikki, have you used this in class before or in a lesson setting?
So I have used it both in a lesson as a teacher, but also with our staff at EMS. Earlier this year, we did a training where the Gender Unicorn was a major piece that we talked about to support staff members to continue to learn and understand our students' identities.
Yeah, and by the way, Travis, pull up. You can see the unicorn, folks. If you go to transstudent.org/gender. And if you go there, you see this website says this is TSER, Trans Student Educational Resources. And underneath it, it says Transforming Education. Now, one of the things that I find interesting, besides what this graphic is showing us, look there on the left of the screen there. You see that? It says interactive English, then a coloring book English, because this is for very, very young children. You're going to show them little cartoon characters. It's like the way the big tobacco people pushed Joe Camel, right? You do little cartoon things, and you use it through Blue's Clues, and they're coming after very, very young children. It's despicable. Pull that up again, and take a look at that along the left-hand side there. Pull that, there you go. Along that, they have You can read about all this in Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, German, Japanese, French, Italian, Thai, Turkish, Dutch, Khmer, Hungarian. Well, that must make the people in Hungary, 90+% of the people, 92, 94% of the people in Hungary rejected this. But, they've got the resources there for them on the web to teach the little children in Hungary. So they have Hungarian, they have Danish, they have Icelandic. I mean, it goes on and on. You'd almost think that this is, I don't know, is it a globalist agenda? Yes. Yes.
I just want to
the
say,
way they
I'm sure the people of Cambodia are just ecstatic to know that they can get a gender unicorn coloring book.
That's right. That's
it
right.
made, the Khmer Rouge was worth it now that they have these gender coloring books.
Yeah.
All it took.
Yeah. Be afraid of the people, not just the people who can kill the body, but the people who can kill the body and the spirit, right? So you should be concerned about that. And of course, the God who can destroy both body and spirit. That's who you should be fearing and paying attention to. But you should also worry about these people who are coming after the souls of your children. And so the way they break this down, take a look at this gender unicorn picture here. He was talking about color codes. And when you look at this, and they're trying to sell this multifaceted personality type of situation to children who really can't comprehend this. Again, comprehend this. Look at how elementary this all is, this cartoon. But now they're breaking down a lot of very, very complicated aspects of this. No wonder the kids are confused, gender confused. And so they have this unicorn there. And the first thing you see is the gender identity. And they represent that as this cartoon character who's got a thought bubble. And in the thought bubble, you see a rainbow. Okay? And then the next thing they show is he's got two hearts, not one heart, but two hearts. Right? So start moving down the creature there. He's got two hearts. One of them represents his physical attraction. Is he attracted to men, women, or other, right? And of course, in all these things, they don't do men, women. They do women, men, women first. So are you physically attracted to women, men, or other genders? And then the next thing is, are you emotionally attracted to women, men, or other genders? And then moving down the body at the crotch, they put a DNA symbol there. And they say that's the sex assigned at birth. Assigned by who? By the government? By the hospital? Well, no, actually, that was a sex assigned to you by God that you are rejecting. And then they have on the side, they have this green dotted line that kind of roughly matches the contour of this thing, but that's your gender expression. And so that when you look at this, I mean, we've got 5 different components that come into this thing. And think about all the different permutations they might be able to play around with this, right? But totally confusing to little kids in kindergarten, 3rd grade, that type of thing. So the gender identity as they define it, that's what you're thinking in your mind there with the unicorn. One's internal sense of being male, female, or neither of these. Or being born another gender, you're Klingon or something, I don't know. Then you have your gender expression, your presentation. That's your physical manifestation. What kind of clothing do you have? What's your hairstyle, your voice, your body shape, that type of thing. The next thing is the sex assigned at birth, and they push back against that. That's really not important. They said that's based on a combination of anatomy and hormones and chromosomes, and it's important that we don't simply use sex. That's the one thing that doesn't matter out of these 5 different characteristics. What you're thinking, how you dress, how you are emotionally attached or sexually attracted to people. As a young child, of course, in kindergarten, we all had massive sexual attractions, didn't we? No. Anyway, it's important that we don't simply use sex because the vagueness of the definition of sex. He says this is why our new Supreme Court justice and none of the Democrat senators can define what sex is. They said we must be aware of the vagueness of the definition of sex. Sex is the only thing that is not vague. All the rest of these things are vaguely defined. Sex is very clear. And they say that is the thing that is most vague. You see how they turn everything upside down and inside out? You see how they lie and how they deceive and how they confuse children? So I want to spend some time on this unicorn thing. It's very important that you understand what they're doing. And this is very key. It's being used in multiple countries. It's being used at multiple levels. They're using this to gaslight and to confuse adults, teachers. You heard her say, we use this to, in our, when we're talking to teachers, to push this into them. And then we get them to go out and, recruit kids and to confuse them. So the vagueness of the definition of sex, because it can have a place in transphobia. Transphobia. What is that? Is that a region or something? Like Transylvania? Now, these guys are Transylvanian vampires. Then you have the physical attraction, and they say sexual orientation, because, they're talking to kids who are looking at purple unicorns. This is a lot more juvenile even than Joe Camel. So it's important to note that sexual and romantic emotional attraction can be from a variety of factors. And they say the same thing when they talk about what your emotional attraction is. So those are the 5 different factors and the way that they manipulate you in all of this. And then they have a footnote here. They say, we did have the gingerbread person. You may recognize this graphic as somewhat similar to the gingerbread person. But we created this graphic with a significant changes to more accurately portray the distinction between gender, sex assigned at birth, and sexuality. Ultimately, we wanted to recognize genders outside of the Western gender binary, which the gingerbread person does not. Not all trans people exist on a scale of womanhood and manhood. No, in order to accurately represent the imaginary world in which they reside, we have to resort to a purple unicorn that's got 2 hearts and a twisted genitalia, represented by a genetically twisted DNA thing there. And then finally, we have, there's a lot of different clips that this person, Karlin Boroshenko, has up on Twitter, but I'll just play one more of them. And this is, listen to how they have browbeaten and trained all these kids. So they give their name and then their pronouns. Listen to this.
And students, this is part of our virtual equity workshops to involve students at every step of the way. And I always say, we want you to be most comfortable. We'd love to see your face, but you're welcome to keep your cameras off. So Aubrey, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Aubrey. I'm in 7th grade. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I go to Edmonds Middle School.
Thank you for being here, Aubrey. How about Batula?
Hi, my name's Batula. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I go to BHS.
Thanks, Batula. How about Delia?
Hi, I'm Delia. I use she, her pronouns, and I go to Hunt Middle School.
Thanks, Delia. And how about Harper and Sophie?
Hi, I'm Harper. I use she, her pronouns. I'm in 7th grade, and I go to Hunt.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I currently use she, her pronouns, and I'm in 7th grade at Hunt.
Yeah, it was just a couple of days ago that I talked to the doctor who was involved in medical education most of his career. And he wrote a book, Take 2 Aspirin and Call Me by My Pronouns. It's to the point we can't even do satire anymore. And I just think it's shameful. Again, we're talking to these young kids. The Florida law that they're so upset about, the Florida law that the Republicans, they just did, well, you're not going to teach this in school. And then when they got a lot of criticism, they pulled it back and said, well, just between kindergarten and 3rd grade. The Florida law would not protect any of these kids. They're all fair game for these perverts who want to manipulate them, who want to groom them. And, of course, that's not the only thing that they're doing there. The other aspect of this is also going to be the racial part of this. The school partners also with the local social justice organizations. Burlington, Vermont As the person who tweeted out this stuff said, the most woke school district in America. They even base their entire school operating budget on equity. Each student in the district is allocated several $100s per student, special funding, with the specific purpose of creating quote-unquote equity, to groom them, if you will, but also to push them into this racism. When the school launched its equity-based budget, one mother commented that she was thrilled that the resegregation of schools was creating positive benefits. It is the racism of schools as well. And the rest of that is about critical race theory, about hating white people. That's the racism. It's also the segregation. And this is why I say that this group, I think, ought to accurately be called Sodom and Go Marxist, because that's what they're pushing. Those two types of things. Attacking people spiritually, intellectually, creating hate, creating perversion. The common man. They created Common Core to dumb down our children. They created Common Pass to track and control us. Their Commons Project to make sure the commoners own nothing. And the communist future. They see the common man as simple, unsophisticated, ordinary. But each of us has worth and dignity, created in the image of God. That is what we have in common. That is what they want to take away. Their most powerful weapons are isolation, deception, intimidation. They desire to know everything about us while they hide everything from us. It's time to turn that around and expose what they want to hide. Please share the information and links you'll find at thedavidknightshow.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. If you can't support us financially, please keep us in your prayers. thedavidknightshow.com.